We got some breaking news coming in during our live Browns report. The Week 11 game against the Bills has officially been moved to the Motor City. They will play at Ford Field in Detroit, and this is a bummer in my eyes. One, we are robbed of what could have been the most ultimate snowball fight in NFL history. I mean, 6 feet of snow is taller than Nick Chubb, but the Browns, if they really had any chance of winning this game in my eyes, it was going to be in the conditions, in the snow, which would have limited Josh Allen's abilities, taken away their biggest strength, and forced it to be Nick Chubb versus Devin Singletary. And I like the Browns' odds a lot more in that battle than in a nice air-conditioned dome in Detroit here. But Dov tweeting out that the Bills-Browns game has been moved to Detroit per Mary Kay. Now, there was some conflicting information on the time of this game. Adam Schefter said 4:15 Eastern. The NFL press release said 1 p.m. Eastern, the original game time. I'm going to go with the NFL here. Schefter, you probably dropped the ball on this one here. So it's going to stay at 1 p.m. Now, it is sort of interesting, and we're going to kind of go through this. Josh Allen and the Bills might just stay in Detroit because they play on Thanksgiving on Thursday, 4 days later, which is why this game could not be postponed to Monday or Tuesday and keep it in Buffalo. It had to be played on Sunday, and if they couldn't get it done in Buffalo, which we're going to run through some of the logistics sort of in just a moment. But do you guys like snow games? I think we were robbed of an opportunity for the Browns and the Bills to play in an all-time snow game in NFL history. I know Kurt Warner wants domes on all 32 NFL states, or 30, 29, however many there are, but you can't tell me there's something about AFC North snow football, the lake effect. I love it. Give it to me. I never want to see the Browns get a dome stadium. The Bills, they are much better in a dome, so maybe for Josh Allen's sake they should, even though their new stadium is not going to feature one. But let me know, yes or no, do you like snow games? So originally today's show was supposed to go over some of the factors that might get this game moved. Well, now the game has been moved, so sorry if some of the tense of the grammar is not correctly. But major factors as to why this game was moved, most likely, travel logistics. You have to move not just 53 players, but all their coaches, all the equipment. That's a lot of stuff moving. And a lot of times, teams will fly in on Saturday afternoon, which is what the Browns do. And depending on where they're playing, they'll put it on a truck, they'll put it on a team bus, whatever, and they'll drive it overnight, leave on Saturday morning. Well, it's a little tough to drive a bus through a snowstorm. So ultimately, they opted to move it to Detroit. All right, that's why I get to the players and equipment travel here. So there's a lot of moving pieces for an NFL game. It is not just showing up because like you're getting dropped off by your parents. No, I mean everything that goes into moving an NFL team. There are tons and dozens of people who work just to relocate a team every single Sunday. And through a blizzard, a record blizzard, it was always going to be tough to do that. Another reason why. The Bills play on Thanksgiving. So the game never could have been moved to Monday or Tuesday. It always had to be on Sunday because they can't play Monday and Thursday. So then with that in mind, got to find a way to play it somewhere on Sunday. And if it can't be in Buffalo, then you got to find a spot. And that spot was Detroit, who happens to be on the road. And they've also become sort of the de facto, hey, there's really bad weather. Where can we play this random neutral site game? The Lions. Remember it happened in 2010? The old Viking stadium, the old dome, the snow on the roof collapsed in. Stefanski was on the Vikings coaching staff. Well, that game between the Vikings and the Giants, that very snowy December day, got moved to Detroit. Plus, a couple of years ago, a Bills-Jets game in Buffalo got moved to Detroit for the same reasons we're experiencing right now. So much snow that it's not so much that the conditions are unplayable. It's you can't get everything and everyone needed to the stadium safely. In the NFL, there's no running behind. If it's not kicking off at 1, they're going to move it, right? They might delay it the day of, but they're not going to hope on Sunday the weather clears up and the planes can land and the highways are open. That's not how Roger Goodell works. All right, we've got more factors to get to, and I'll kind of give more analysis and truthfully why this stinks for the Browns in my eyes in just a moment. But today's Browns report is sponsored by Established Titles. Established titles is a fun and novel way to help preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland while helping global reforestation efforts. It is a project based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds or lords and ladies in English. Title packs give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number on a private estate in Eddleston, Scotland, and an official certificate with a crest. We plant a tree with every order and work with global charities One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future to support global reforestation efforts. You can officially include the title Lord or Lady on your credit card, plane tickets, dating profiles, etc. It also makes a great last-minute gift. Plus, the first 200 people purchasing a title pack using my link will effectively be next to my plot, just a few minutes of walking distance. Depending on how many of you want to become a Lord or a Lady, guys, we can build our own Browns kingdom. It makes an amazing last-minute gift too. Established Titles is actually running a massive early Black Friday sale right now with deals up to 80% off. Plus, if you use code CHAT when you go to establishedtitles.com/chat, you can get an additional 10% off. Help support the channel and help global reforestation efforts when you go to establishedtitles.com/chat, promo code CHAT, links in the comments and the description of today's show. All right, another reason why this game was moved to Detroit and sort of what we just touched on, the Lions are on the road. They are in New Jersey playing the Giants, so that opened up a stadium. And also, you got to keep in mind, it's not just where can we find a field, right? You got to get all of the CBS crew here. Like, the TV networks, they can't be forgotten. They are arguably one of the most important pieces of this puzzle. Whenever you want to move games, you have to make sure that the TV broadcast can also be accommodated. And in this case, with the Lions on the road, they can get the TV network in time to Detroit. Meaning, they can't just wait to the day of or even the day before and make a decision based on the weather is. CBS, their crews, they don't get there 24 hours before kickoff. They're there much earlier, getting all their cameras and the whole production set up. So that is why on a Thursday afternoon, they decide we're not going to even wait and see if the storm hits Buffalo and hits Orchard Park with 6 feet of snow. We don't have time to waste. We can't make that bet. We're going to go to Detroit. Which this is why I don't think it benefits the Browns. Because look at Josh Allen's stats when he plays in domes. Just 4 games, he's a perfect 4-0. 76.5 completion percentage. Over 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns in those 4 games. This is not what the Browns needed, right? The Browns, they had their best chance with, and this was before the news broke, with Mother Nature limiting Josh Allen, right? Keeping him out of a dome. Forcing this to be a ground game. Run the football. Nick Chubb against Devin Singletary. Now, don't get me wrong. The Browns defense would not have done a good job against the Bills running game. But if you at least take Josh Allen's ability to pass out of the equation pretty much, that's going to help even the scales a little bit. Now that they're in a dome, it's going to be full air raid for the Bills. That's not going to help at all. We are 59 subscribers, by the way, everyone, from 14,600. Listen, the more subscribers we get here, the more content I can do. Chat Sports has numerous NFL team channels. And the Browns Report, unfortunately, is one of the newer ones, so we're towards the bottom in subscribers. But if we pick up more subs, we can, climb up the totem pole a little bit, and we can get you guys more content. So if you have not subscribed, make sure you do so. Or if you feel the Browns are disrespected, like I do every day I come into work here, hit that big red button. This was what I wrote before the game was moved, so it's a bit dated, but, well, it's not dated, but it doesn't really play into my argument. The Bills, the last 2 weeks, with their loss to the Jets and to the Vikings, they've turned it over 6 times, and they've allowed 321 rushing yards. That would have been awesome if this game was played outdoors in the snow, where the Bills can't pass it that well. They're being beat up on the ground. Now that it is in a dome, it is not ideal for Cleveland because without the weather impact, this game isn't going to be kind of a weird Patriots-Bills game we saw last year on Monday night where the Bills couldn't pass it at all and Belichick outcoached McDermott and ran the football better. So we always do this once a week, and I got my doghouse. 2 weeks ago after the Bengals game, it was like PD's, like happy doghouse. I don't know what, but now after the loss, no. So we're back to negativity. Backyard only is Jedrick Wills. I mean, it's like if you have a dog who you don't trust, with hanging out with other dogs, they get in fights a little bit, so they just stay in your backyard, beware of the dog sign. That's Jed Wills. He did not have a good game. Honestly, the offensive line probably had their worst game of the season against Miami. On the leash, meaning take them for walks, but they don't have free range to run wherever they want because you don't trust them that much. That is Joe Woods. The reason why he's not completely in the doghouse is because Joe Woods spoke to the media today and was honestly, I appreciated it, really frankly honest and direct, right? He said, I'm getting a lot of criticism, and I deserve a lot of criticism. And I appreciated that honesty. In my doghouse is Andrew Berry because I believed in him. I was a bit of a sheep in the offseason. His gamble was, we don't need a really good interior defensive line, right? We've got Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney anchoring that D-line. Teams pass it more than ever. We can get by with average defensive tackles like we did last year with the 2 Maliks. The issue with this plan was didn't account for the Browns to have the worst interior defensive line in football. So, with that being said, we wrap up this sort of cut right now with the Browns-Bills game has been moved to Detroit. And I wanted to ask this question. We can throw it on screen. We'll end with this question right here. I wanted this game to be in Buffalo, and we can say, what is your favorite wing sauce, right? What do you love to put on your wings? I like a good mix of, honey barbecue and buffalo, medium, mild, whatever it is. So let me know your favorite wing sauce because originally I thought we were playing in Buffalo when I built this entire show for us today. Now that it's in Detroit, there's nothing cool about Detroit. Detroit pizza sucks.